Here we are, another Sunday afternoon in Massachusetts, but we've got people coming in from California, Southern California, and Northern California. Well, my name's Rick Farron, and the program we got today is called Jehovah's Witnesses Share Their Christian Testimony. Now, this program's been running for a couple of years. We've had numerous guests come on, and how they were treated in the Watchtower, and how they became real Christians, not counterfeit Christians as the Watchtower makes people become. So we have a woman named Anne Marie. She's coming in from Northern California. And then we have a man named Cochise Pendleton. Well, he is the author of the book, The Bible versus the Watchtower. And Cochise is going to be on with us. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to bring Anne Marie on first. Anne Marie, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine, my brother.
All right, Anne Marie. Now we'll bring Cochise on, Cochise Pendleton, and he's on screen with us right now. So hello, Cochise, and say hello to Anne Marie.
Hello, Anne Marie. Do I sound okay?
You sound just great.
Now, tell the truth now. Tell the truth now. Don't be pulling any wool. Am I sounding crackly?
No, you don't sound staticky. It just sounds to me. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm looking forward to hearing your story. I heard a lot of people say that you used to be on the six screens, and I think it was before my time. And Rick also told me, and Debbie made mention that you had written a book, and I'd like to read it sometime. And I'm just glad that you agreed to come on the show, and I'm looking forward to hearing your testimony.
Okay. All right. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, Anne Marie, I stepped out. You can take care of the program. Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome in, everyone. Six Screen Sunday. We only do Six Screen Sunday twice a month. And I do believe that today is July 30th. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a calendar. And this is Jehovah's Witnesses Share Their Christian Testimony. We have Cochise Pendleton. A lot of people know who Cochise is. Every time we hear, I think it's like, and now the end of this year. Is that you, Cochise?
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah.
So we get to hear you pretty much every show, every week.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Yeah, I've been on the six screens for the last 20 years.
Wonderful. So glad to hear it. Well, I'm looking forward to you giving your testimony, Cochise. If you don't mind, I'm interested in how you came to be in the Watchtower. I'm interested in hearing what your life was like in the Watchtower, how you felt as a believing member of Watchtower. How did you come to first have doubts, being, I call it a PIMQ, physically in, but mentally you're questioning. We all know PMEs, when you're physically in, mentally in, like your mind is completely taken in and taken over and controlled by the Watchtower programming, which, as we know, is a constant programming. They're constantly reinstating and reinforcing the programming, and they watch you like a hawk for any sign that you might be stepping out of your programming. And so then you have the PIMQs who are physically in, but mentally they're starting to really question. Things bother them. And, it's like they can't swallow down their doubts anymore with, oh, they're just imperfect men. And, oh, it's Satan. Oh, I'm just being weak. And then, of course, we have the PMOs who are physically in, playing the game, doing the Watchtower two-step, going along to get along. They don't want to lose their family. They don't want to lose their friends. They're hoping that maybe they can help wake up others before they get out. So they're mentally out, even though their body is physically playing the part. And then, thank God, like a lot of us on the line, we're POMOs, physically out and mentally out. Some people are physically out, but mentally they're still taken over by the program. That was me for almost 14 years. I'm out of the organization, but mentally, I still believed it. I even was witnessing and placing literature. So, Cochise, I'm really I've been looking forward to hearing your testimony. If you don't mind, how you got into Watchtower, what was it like for you? How did you start waking up? How did you get out? How's your life different now that you have come to Christ?
Okay, well, you have a lot of questions. So, being an old man, what I'll do is I'll start with how did I get in? And then you can ask me another question. Is that okay?
Whatever works for you, I kind of present that.
Okay, good. Well, the way I got in, I was out of high school, and make a long story short, the inception was a knock at my door. And I was about 22 and 21 and a half, 22. And I was on my own, and a knock on my door, and it was a Jehovah's Witness. And the Jehovah's Witness, we started to talk. And I went to a Presbyterian church in high school, really close with the pastor. And anyway, we started talking. And so I invited this person in to the home. And the question that this young girl asked me was, do I know who Jehovah is? And I said, excuse me? And she said, well, do you know what God's name is? And I said, no, I don't. And so then she showed me Psalms 83:18 in her Bible, of course. And it said Jehovah there. And so that was what got me interested. And I said, I'll be doggone. I've been going to church all this time. I never knew what God's name was. I mean, he has a name. So that was the initial contact that was made. And from there, the journey began.
Say that again.
From that initial knock on my door, asking me if I knew what God's name was, that's where my journey began. Now, is there any okay?
No, it's hard to understand you. I'm so sorry. You basically got approached by, if I heard you correctly, you were Presbyterian, and you received a knock on the door, if I heard you correctly, when you were about 21, 22. And like so many, it's amazing, Cochise, is over and over, it just seems like the ones that get pulled into the Watchtower by those very cleverly trained cult recruiters, it's the intelligent ones like you. You're a very intelligent man. My mother was genius level. She got sucked in. So many get sucked in. And so you were about 21, 22. Is that your phone, Cochise?
That's correct. That was correct.
Okay. So is that your phone?
I'm sorry, is that my what?
No, I just heard someone's phone ringing. I was just wondering if that was your phone.
No, that's not my phone.
Oh, okay. So did you ask me a question? Because, like I said, it's a little bit hard to understand you.
Yeah. So that's how I was introduced to the Watchtower organization through this visitor at my door. And so from there began my journey. Now, did you have another question that you'd like to ask me? And then I'll address that question once that journey began. Whatever question you want to ask me, I'll answer.
Okay, so were you basically believing, did you feel that the witnesses answered your questions, that they made sense, that they were reasonable, that you had actually found the truth, the only true religion? Did you feel that way?
Yeah. Okay. From there, my journey began. And so what I initially did was I went to my Presbyterian pastor. I called him on the phone, and I wanted to have lunch with him because I wanted to discuss by the way, this material is in my book. I wanted to discuss the Watchtower with him. And being ignorant of the organization, I wanted a professional's opinion, a biblical opinion, a pastor's opinion on getting involved with the organization. And so I had lunch with him. And to make a long story short, I asked him a question. I said, what are they about? What is the Watchtower about? Is it something that I should get involved in? What are your thoughts? I needed direction. Being young and ignorant, I needed direction. So I went to the only authority that I knew that could give me said direction. And his response was very simply, well, the Watchtower is just like any other Christian organization, like the Methodists or the Presbyterians or the Episcopalians. They're all the same. So you just pick and choose which one you want. And so that gave me the green light to investigate further.
Okay, it's really disheartening to me to even in the dictionary, if you look up Jehovah's Witnesses in the encyclopedia, if you Google Jehovah's Witnesses religion, they always say they're a Christian sect when they are not Christian in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, they're almost the complete opposite. You can't talk to Jesus. You can't follow Jesus. You can't talk about Jesus. You can't partake of the emblems. You can't put faith in Jesus. And if you ever really do become a Christian while you're in the Watchtower, you'll be disfellowship or apostasy.
Hey, Anne Marie, this is, I'm going to hold on 1 second. This is Rick at the control panel here. What we're going to do, I have another person that called in here and told me they're having some issues too with the sound. But Cochise, don't you worry. It's not on your end, okay?
Okay.
What I'm going to do here, we have, I'll just explain to everybody, we have a number of different platforms that we broadcast our programs on. And so the most important one, I have to say, the one that gets the most attention is YouTube. Cochise is coming forth wonderful. I mean, it's like professional on YouTube. It's amazing how clear it is. But for some reason, the telephone line that I'm on, I'm listening to the same line that you guys are all listening to. I have it set up in the other room so I can constantly monitor it. And he's coming through on my phone as well. So, in fact, it's perfect. So Susan's listening in, and she says it's perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut the telephone line down. I'm going to shut the telephone line down, and then I'm going to come back and see if that helps. I'm just not sure why that's happening. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'll shut it down, but we're still on YouTube. And then you folks on the telephone line, just wait and hold on, and we'll see when I come on if it's any clearer. So I'm going to shut it down right now, and then we'll take it from there and reset it and see if it's on this end here. So stay with us, Cochise. Don't go anywhere, Anne Marie. We'll be right back. The phone line's going to go down right now. All right, it's down right now. So we're going to come back in, and we're going to redial it. Dialing now. So you may hear in the background dialing. And what we do here, this is a conference line.
Welcome into the live fixed-screen conference calls. We thank you for joining in. To speak up and talk, press.
This is not just a regular telephone. This is a conference call line. The telephone alone is worth $700. So I'm trying to have the best equipment I possibly can. But sometimes it can be on my end too. So we'll see.
Enjoy the programs tonight.
But it's so hard really to get everyone's clear as a bell. It doesn't work all the time. So we'll just see what happens now that I dial back in again. And we'll just give it a little time here, and then we'll be able to say for sure. All right, so.
Muted.
All right, I'm going to unmute it now. Anne Marie, you there with us? Can you hear me? Are you there, Anne Marie? Can Anne Marie hear me?
Unmuted.
Anne Marie, can you hear me?
Yes, my brother, I can hear
Now, how am I sounding?
you. You sound like you always sound perfect.
All right. So let's bring Cochise. Cochise, count to 10 for us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Is that any better?
No, my brother, it's okay. I'm sorry I said anything. It is what it is. No worries. No worries.
Well, Cochise, I'm just wondering why I've never had this happen before.
Well, Rick, I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just hang up and just call in and talk to her that way.
Yeah.
Would that-
Why don't you do that and just call in? But what you want to do is you want to mute your mic here. In other words, we'll keep you on YouTube so we can see you.
Okay.
And you just go down there. Do you see the settings on the bottom?
Let me see here.
Go down to the bottom of the screen.
Okay, okay, before I mute myself, what's the phone number to call in?
All right, 727 731 6701.
Okay.
Let me just make sure there, just to make sure that is the right number, because sometimes I get a little. We have a couple of numbers we use here, but let me just make sure I gave the right number. Don't hang up yet. Let
Okay.
me take a look here. We'll get back on. So no worries. We'll get Cochise back on with us, and sometimes we. Okay, so 727-731-6701. Yeah, that's the number for this call. Yep. All right. So you can just go down to your settings and mute yourself.
I'll do that right now.
All right. So we got Cochise. We want to keep him on YouTube. He's got a lot of people coming in and they want to hear what Cochise has to say, but they'll be able to hear him through our telephone line, and we'll see if that works any better. And then we'll work on Cochise's and when we have a next program come up. But this will work. We go on the telephone line. No big deal. We can do that and see what happens. So he's dialing in now. We can see him there on his on the YouTube screen, and we'll get Cochise so we can hear him nice and loud and clear. So just give him a second. He's dialing into the conference right now. Can you hear Cochise? Raise your hand if you're hearing on the telephone line. All right, give it a second. I can tell if you're coming in. Let me see. Okay, I do believe that's Cochise. They hit *6, Cochise, on your telephone. *6, that'll bring you on. All right, can you hear me, Cochise? Can you hear me, Cochise? Raise your hand if you can hear me. All right. What's your area code? I don't have your area code right in front of me here. Sorry, but I believe you're coming in. I believe you're coming in on 203. Is that you, 203, area code 203? No. Well, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do here, folks. That's one of the things that is problematic here at the 6 screen, because you're doing programs live. Cochise should be able to dial into the program. This is weird. This is very weird. But, I'll tell you another thing, too, folks. We have been being hacked into. And that could be one of the problems, too. We had Debbie Hines on last night. She's been hacked because she's come on the 6 screen. They may be still trying to hack us. Cochise, can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can. All right. Well, are you hearing anything? Can you, Marie, speak up. Say hello, Marie. Count to 10 for us.
Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. I forgot the rest of it. I'm hoping Cochise can come back on.
Cochise, hit this. Cochise, hit *6. Just hit *6 on your telephone pad. Speak up. No, we have got problems on the telephone line too with Cochise. This is strange. This is very, very strange. I have never experienced this before. Usually you should be able to call right into you can hear the program. Now, Cochise, I hope you didn't dial the old telephone number. You dial the telephone number that I told you to dial. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Cochise, unmute yourself if you would on YouTube. All right. All right. Well, I don't know what we're going to do, folks. We do have a sound issue. I don't know what we'll do. Just
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Rick, it's telling me to enter some code, and I don't know what code to enter. I hit *6. It says hit *6 to enter the. So I hit *6, and it says enter the code, and then it goes out.
All right. Well, try it once again. Just redial it.
Hey, Rick, I can hear Cochise just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm on the computer.
He's on the computer.
I'm not on the phone.
All right, Cochise, dial back in again. Hang up and dial back in again.
All right.
Hey, Rick, I was going to tell you I could hear you clearly too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all you guys saying that, but we got 7 different platforms, so we're working with the telephone line. We want to. He's calling it. You're hearing him through his. I don't want to get into all the technical stuff. You're hearing it. We want to get him right on the telephone line. Can you hear now? Are you getting? Let's see what happens. Still getting that code? All right. I don't know. All right. Well, anyways. Cochise? Okay, he's holding it. Yeah, I think he's coming in now. Sometimes the conference line asks you to get a code. Why it does that, I don't know, but it does to some people. It might be because of the telephone line he's calling in on. If he's got Metro or T-Mobile, sometimes that happens.
All right. Well, okay. I dialed in again, and it says, hit *6. I hit *6, and then it says, please enter your, and it hangs up.
All right. What telephone? What carrier are you using? Is it T-Mobile or Metro?
AT&T.
AT&T.
Yeah.
Well, that's strange. Well, Cochise, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're gonna end it here.
Okay.
It's very what it is technical issues. I'm thinking also another thing. I hate to always bring this up, but I think our phone lines, the computer system somehow has been hacked. Now, I can't say that for sure, but one of the other people on our program, Barbara Anderson, mentioned the same thing. She was hacked last week. Also, Deborah Hines, who told her a story about sexual abuse, she was hacked. And so it could be a problem in that way, but I'm not going to take more Cochise's time or Anne Marie's. And why don't we just, next time you come on a Sunday, Cochise, what we'll do is I'll have you come on Anne Marie's program then. But we're going to end this program. And those listening on YouTube, forgive us, but technical issues when you're doing live programs. Well, thank you, Cochise. Thank you very much for wanting to come on. The first program was good. I'll send you a link to YouTube. It came out perfect. Why we're having issues here, I just don't understand. So
okay, well, I wanted to say something to Ann. I'm sorry, Ann, that this is not working out, but I wanted to answer one last question. It's maybe garbled, but what convinced me to stay in the Watchtower once I left the pastor is that they answered every question I had and used the Bible. They gave me a Bible answer to every question I had. So that kind of solidified my desire to continue. So they always had an answer to any question that I had. So of course they always pull things out of context, and that's how they operate. But that's being ignorant. I didn't know that. But that's how they convinced me that they had all the Bible answers I needed. So I'll end it there.
Well, hold on, Cochise. Before you leave, I want to say one thing. Hold on right there. The problem might be California. The problem may be in California somewhere. And the reason why I say that, the people that have called me up, Henry, of course, lives in California. And also, I got another call just a couple of minutes ago from California. We did not have that problem with Nebraska. We did not have that problem with some of the other people calling in earlier. So it may be out there. Maybe they're doing something with the cell towers, or maybe you guys are going to have some type of seismic quake or something.
Well, I think the devil's working overtime here in California.
Yeah, well, that's funny you say that, but it may be a California issue. So where do we go from here? In fact, let me just pick another person here. Just hang on for a second. Just curious. Debbie, I see you're still on with us. Debbie, well, what does Cochise sound like to you? You're from Nebraska.
It sounds okay, but even in the last show, I didn't say anything. But Cochise, I was having a hard time understanding Cochise then too. The sound went in and out. It sounded crackly, but I just didn't say anything about it.
All right, well, thank you, Debbie. All right, well, listen, what we'll do, we'll get this all straightened out anyways, Cochise, but I have to tell you, the YouTube and the Facebook and all of that was perfect. It was perfect. So it's just we had some trouble with our radio telephone line, but we'll cut you loose, and thank you, Cochise, for being a real sport. I hate
Thank
to
you,
do that.
everybody. God bless everybody. Talk to you
Thank
later.
All right, you have a good day. Okay, thank you. We'll end the broadcast here. Listen, what we're going to do, we're going to go to JW World News. Hopefully that'll be better. Now that Cochise is gone, how do I sound? Do I sound all right on the telephone line? Am I coming through all right? All right. Well, all right. Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I can't, I never went to school for engineering, but I mean, I'm learning pretty quick that it's just so difficult to straighten it all out. And sometimes it could be with the phone companies themselves. But as long as I'm clear and coming in good, and Anne-Marie, you there with us?
I'm right here.
I want
was wanting. Go ahead.
I want to apologize to you as well. It's just one of those issues. Some could hear, some couldn't. I'm not sure exactly why that was all happening, but thank you for being patient. And what we'll do is when Cochise comes,
Rick?
yeah.
Rick, Anne-Marie was just breaking up too. I didn't hear what she said. I just heard little snippets of her voice. But that's it.
But I'm coming through pretty good.
You're coming through fine.
All right. Well, I'm going to say it's maybe it's a California problem. But I've got a number of people. It looks like, well, I know Connie and Dick was saying it, and some other people too. I believe from California on this suite. I believe are from California saying the same thing. So let's just let it go with that. So we ended that, and we'll have our JW World News that's coming up next. So. But thank you all for being patient. We'll end the broadcast here. Cochise will be back and tell his Christian testimony in a couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to that. So hang in with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll do JW World News. That's coming up next, right here on the 6 Screens Telenetwork. So we'll end that broadcast.